Wow, y'all got quiet real fast. I expected some noise. Come on now. Okay. All right. Good morning. We have some important updates for our JCPS families and staff. Our district submitted a proposal to the Jefferson County Board of Education to consolidate, close, and relocate some of our schools. We know this will be difficult. It's difficult for our staff. It's difficult for our families. But it is a necessity for the long-term future of our district. And most importantly, for our students. We made this decision after a thorough examination of the quality and capacity of our facilities and our educational models. This reflects really the harsh reality for school districts that school districts are experiencing across our country. This week alone, at least 2 other school districts announced very similar closings and consolidations. Very similar. Today, we'll go through our recommendations, our reasoning, and next steps for families and staff. Our facility profile index informed the majority of these decisions. Our operations team actually started this work before I began my role as superintendent. It was a way to track the return on the investment in our facilities. And it's a new tool that assesses the costs of our schools by analyzing 3 key areas. 1, the condition of their facilities. 2, their enrollment percentage. And 3, the cost per student. So after an in-depth review of this report and lengthy discussions with my team, we proposed closing Zachary Taylor Elementary, moving Waller Williams Environmental, consolidating King Elementary into Maupin Elementary, and relocating the Georgia Chaffee Teenage Parent Program. Additionally, we are proposing the closure of Liberty High School. This school was initially created to serve students in the credit recovery process. Today, there are credit recovery resources implemented across JCPS, making the standalone Liberty model no longer necessary. But if passed, students will return to their reside schools with mandated personal learning plans. We'll also provide an accelerated path to credit recovery. We also recommend closing Zachary Taylor Elementary School because enrollment is under 50% of the school's capacity, and if passed, students will reapply to ranking choices from elementary schools in the Ballard High Zone. We recommend relocating Waller Williams Environmental because of enrollment and costs. The school is at 39% of its capacity, and the cost per student is about $111,000. While this is a specialized school and requires additional resources, our average cost per student at our specialized schools is about $62,000. So we'll be moving this school to an existing facility in the Fairdale neighborhood that's more appropriately sized. We propose consolidating King Elementary because of the school's enrollment and costs. The school is at 70% capacity, and the average cost per student is about $10,000 above our average for elementary schools. At the same time, Maupin Elementary is at 53% enrollment, but has a lower cost per student. So we are merging the 2 schools at Maupin's more cost-effective facility. Finally, we recommend moving the Georgia Chaffee Teenage Parent Program because enrollment is at 21% of the current facility's capacity, and we found a more efficient location. So we are proposing moving the program to the Gaines Early Childhood Center in the Louisville Male Traditional High School's campus. I want to make it clear, our decision today in no way reflects the quality and strength of our staff, or principals, or teachers, or counselors, and every employee impacted by the decision. We know that they have dedicated their professional lives to supporting students, and for that, we are eternally and immensely grateful. But we know this is a lot to process. We know that. And may come as a surprise to some. But we encourage you to take the next week to reflect, talk with families and school communities, then bring us your questions. We're actually holding 3 public forums throughout the first week of December. And we have a feedback form on our website for those who cannot attend. We will apply this feedback to our FAQ page and share a summary document with the board before the December 9th meeting. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your support through this difficult process that will bring us closer to our mission as a district. The mission to challenge and engage each learner to grow through effective teaching and meaningful experiences within caring, supportive environments. I just want to say, these are difficult decisions, but these are necessary to preserve the future of our district, to preserve the future of our district, and to protect our students' future. Thank you. At this time, I will take questions. They'll be given opportunities to apply to other schools, like the schools that the students will be going to. And as you know, we have multiple vacancies throughout the school district, so there will be opportunities there as well.
How many students do you believe to be directly impacted by all this news?
There would be, I'll have to get back to you with the exact number, but we do have that. I'll get back to you.
Or is it fair to say that there will be hundreds, thousands of students?
Not thousands, definitely. It'll be in the hundreds. But again, I'll give you a more accurate number.
Are teachers guaranteed a position if they were at one of these affected schools?
Okay. We are working to get every teacher into a position. Will there be a possibility that it could be layoffs? Yes. I can't sit here and say they will not. But we are working to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to get into another position.
You all use the facility profile index in this decision making. Can you explain that to families who are going to be seeing these stories tonight?
Yes, I'm going to ask our Chief of Operations to come up and give us an explanation about that, please.
Back in February of last year, we were tasked with developing a process and analyzing our schools for possible closures or consolidations, and also being able to give more information to the Board of Education in the future. So we spent the last several months developing what we call the Facility Profile Index, which looks at essentially 3 items that the superintendent mentioned. The first one is the enrollment trend of the building, going back as early as 1999, looking to see for what the enrollment pattern does, both demographically in the city, whether or not we believe that the school will increase enrollment based off previous factors. The second one is an actual cost per student, where we include not only the KDE number that is the reportable number, we include, in addition to that, the cost to operate the building, the cost for maintenance, the cost for busing. The all-in cost is our best cost estimate per student. And then the third is the building condition index, which is what we publicly report to KDE, which informs the district facilities plan. Factoring in these 3 things, we built essentially a report that will be given annually to the board in June that will be the recommendation from the operations division of things to consider. So in this report, which I believe goes public today, you will notice, like, The first school on the list is Western High School, but it clearly states Western High School was just created as a magnet program. The Board of Education and the superintendent have said they need at least 3 years to grow enrollment in their program, so our recommendation would be do nothing with that building. As we go down the list, we tried to identify buildings that were either in very poor physical condition or that we saw enrollment trends that we did not believe would increase, or we saw a higher per pupil spending, and we asked questions on whether or not these were reasonable and whether or not the Board of Education needed to look at them. And from that, we developed essentially the idea for the moves that we had mentioned, as well as the closures of Zach Taylor and the consolidation of Maupin.
Where do the schools that we're talking about today sit on that list?
So King is number 7 on the list, and Zach Taylor is number 9.
Thank you. On programmatic investigations, for example, we spoke about Liberty and their credit recovery, and now we see credit recovery programs also available in other schools. At the time, we did not have a robust program when Liberty was formed, but now we do. So we now see an opportunity to get students back into those environments. Initial forecast is about $4 million, but again, 4 million, yes, 4 million. But in addition to that, we also, looking at possibly the sale of buildings, which will also incur additional revenue. But of course, that takes time. But initially, we're looking at least 4 million.
Can you give us a sense of the sale of those buildings, particularly Zachary Taylor? I mean, that's a growing part of the county.
Yeah.
How are you going into that also?
Well, that's going to be difficult to say because, real estate prices sort of have a level of fluctuation. So to sit here and predict will be a bit unfair, but I'm sure it'll be in the millions of dollars. But I can't put a figure to that right now.
Did Zachary Taylor's location, though, there play a factor in that decision for that specific?
Well, it's not the location, like you said. Looking at the FPI, the facilities index, that played the majority factor into it. Enrollment, cost per student, and things like that. Those were the metrics that were used for that.
You're still not even close to the 188 million. What's next after this?
Yes. We're looking at those central office cuts. We're well on the way with that, and I'm sure we'll be revealing some of that.
Will there be more school closures and consolidations next year?
Yes. So we're hoping not to, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you no. Absolutely not. Again, we're challenged with a certain deficit, 188 million, and we will have to address that. So our hope is not to go there and be able to, do the other cuts, but I can't say definitively no.
Will the feedback from those 3 public forums have the ability to change this proposal?
Yes. They will definitely influence the proposal because, we'll be asking for things like tell us what you'd like to see. Tell us, what are some things you'd like to preserve as far as your school environment is concerned. So there will definitely be an impact on, on this movement.
About how much, do you know, estimate how many staff and teachers might be impacted by
Approximately 165 staff. Teachers that will be impacted. Teachers and staff. Yes, teachers and staff. Yes.
And then this is a pretty fast timeline. Do you feel it's enough time to get that parent feedback? And is there a reason you guys
Yeah. Yes. Yes, because the transfer window is open right now, and we wanted to provide that information before that window closed for those parents. So this timeline is great. I'm sure there will be some adjustments that we're planning to do, yes.
I had a King parent actually text me, and she says if funding is the issue, why can't they take it out of salaries like central office? And she even mentioned yourself.
Well, we're looking at central office right now.
Can you talk about what the conversations looks like, if any, with some of the staff at the affected schools before finalizing this list?
Yes, so what happens there is the conversations don't occur after the list well, they're going on right now. Principals are notified, they're notifying their staff. And of course, nothing is final until the board votes on it and gives their final. So right now there's conversations happening, and we will have forums that will allow input from staff members, from community members. They knew before this was announced, yes.
Confident that the board will approve the plan as it is now?
Well, it's hard to say because, the board represents the community and they're independent. Their opinions vary. So, yeah, it'll be difficult for me to actually predict an outcome. We're presenting this because we definitely see this as an option that we need to move forward with, but I cannot predict, the board's actions.
If the board maybe decides not to accept this proposal, is there a plan B in place, or is that kind of starting from?
We will have to go back to we'll have to go back to planning.
Does this move change at all the projection of what the district needs to cut by next year? Is that number still at 132, or does this change that projection? What could it be?
Yes, this affects that projection, definitely.
So what would it
So, if we cut 4 million, then we'll be going after $128 million. So this, 128, because the magic number we're trying to get to is 132 million. So again, this 4 would definitely have an impact on that.
But it's small consideration, right?
Yes, yes. But small things add up. We have cuts in different arenas, and obviously, we can't do $100 million cut. If not, we'd be there. So we have to take sort of an aggregate of these cuts to make it viable. That's still in process right now. The plan isn't finalized yet, but it's well on the way. We just don't have it to where we can actually go public yet. But we're planning.
Do you have an average salary for central office employees?
I don't. We can get that information to you. So our focus is to provide a quality learning experience for all students, regardless of background, regardless of geographic location. So as we view the schools that they'll be attending or going into, we wanted to ensure that there'll be a quality or continued, as one would say, quality experience for us. So again, regardless of socioeconomic condition, regardless of background, we expect that quality that existed to continue in these schools. And that was a primary factor as well.
Can you guarantee that the cuts that you're proposing right now will not affect the quality of education?
Well, the expectation is that JCPS provides a quality experience for all students, regardless of where they go. Regardless of where they go.
Can you talk a little bit more about why Liberty and Zachary Taylor were closed rather than consolidated like some of the other schools?
While Liberty and Zachary Taylor were closed, because we wanted to make sure that they were going into or had opportunities to go into environments that allow them to continue the quality process. Zachary Taylor, for example, there were different schools in the Ballard area that they can apply to. Liberty, there are different schools that have, programs, credit recovery programs that they can apply to. Whereas with King, because of the proximity to Maupin, and Maupin having a greater need to be able to absorb more students, those decisions were made. Yes. Yes. So we'll be looking at that information as well, because we don't want to bring additional pressures to schools, but we want to make sure that wherever the students attend or wherever they go, they have that quality experience.
We have time for one more.
Should we expect a tax increase next year?
So there's a tax increase that happens naturally every year, but are we going to try to get additional tax? No. No, from my perspective, now, I work at the will of the board. So again, as you know, there was a revenue task force that was formed, and they will help guide the answer to that question.
All right, thank you, everyone. If you have additional questions, feel free to.
Thank you.